Chapter 5. Battering ordered a wall guard to be posted night and day against the return of Trom Clog. He harbored no doubts at all that the pirate would be back, doubly bent on revenge and conquest. Extra guards were put to watch the slaves when they were quarrying stone, fishing, or tending crops to feed the horde. Feldo's father Barkyon had wheedled himself onto kitchen duty. He kept his old eyes and ears open, gathering all the information he could. In the slave compound at night, he discussed it with others. Since Martin's open defiance of battering and Feldo's rock-throwing, a new mood was beginning to make itself felt among the captives. Kayla, Barkyon, and a hedgehog named Hilgos were a little bolder than the rest. They soon became the ringleaders of a rebellious little group that met each night around the compound fire. Barkyon was a squirrel with a wise old head, and every beast listened when he talked.
We must do all that we can to help Feldo and Martin escape, and the other little mouse, Brom. If they can make it to freedom, I know that they will do all in their power to defeat Badring and free us all. Feldo and Martin are the only ones ever to defy the tyrant. I am certain that if they were on the outside, they would not leave us here to rot in captivity.
There were murmurs of agreement from the creatures that crowded round to listen at the meeting. A mouse called Purslane, who sat with her husband and babe, called out,
"Tell us what to do, Barkyon! We're with you!"
"Get them extra rations to keep up their strength," Kayla answered for the old squirrel. "Shellfish or shrimp if you're out with a fishing party. Crops or fruit if you work in the fields. They need to be fit if they're to escape." A female otter named Tolgru spoke up.
"What if you work in the quarry like I do? How can I help?"
"Hinder, hamper, work as slowly as you can,"
Hilgos answered her.
"If at all able, try to steal anything that can be used as a weapon. Tools, sharp rock shards, anything. They may all be needed someday."
"Don't listen to them! You only land us all in trouble!"
Barkyon stood up and gazed out over the slaves.
"Is that you, Drop?"
A surly-looking bankful who was trying to hide behind others lifted his head.
"Yes, it's me."
Tolgru grabbed him and stood him upright.
"Then don't hide at the back muttering. Stand up and speak up face to face with others instead of slinking about."
"Go on, Drup. Have your say." Hilgos nodded towards the bankful. It was clear whose side the bankful was on when he spoke.
"We're slaves, and it's better to be alive than killed trying to do foolish things. Badring and his horde are too strong for us. If you start stealing fish and crops and tools, we'll all be punished. I don't want to be suffering for the foolishness of others. Count me out of your plans."
Purslane threw a piece of firewood at Drup.
"Shut your sniveling little trap! I've seen you hanging around the guards and carrying tales. You're a sneak, Drup, a toady!"
Angry murmurs arose from the crowd. Barkyon held up a paw for order. When there was quiet, he confronted the bankful.
"Unfortunately, we cannot count you out of our plans, Drop. You are one of us. Therefore, all we do affects you, and anything you choose to do must affect us. Together, we can be a stream, coursing its way powerful and silent. Even a small stream can wear away large rocks. But separate us, and we become as single droplets of water, ready to be scattered by the flick of a paw. You are either on our side, or you are with Badring and his horde."
Drup lowered his eyes, avoiding Barkyon's gaze.
"I am alone. I side with no beast. Leave me to live my own life as I see fit."
Barkyon silenced the angry murmurings of the slaves with a growl.
"So be it, Drup. No creature is forced to join us. You may stay alone. But let me warn you, Bankful. If one word of our business reaches Badring and his creatures, I will hold you responsible When that happens, you will be a dead beast. I promise this.
Droop slunk out of the crowd to a deserted corner of the compound. The silence that followed was eventually broken by Kayla. Oh well, if that's all for tonight, I'll be on my way. Feeding time for the prisoners, you know. Rose and Grum lay behind the rocks, watching Fortress Marshink, helpless and unable to approach the gates because of the 2 sentries who stood on the wall top, keeping a lookout for the return of Traum Clog. The mousemaid shook her head despairingly. With those 2 up there, we won't be able to communicate with our friend. What can we do, Grum?
I says we sittin' tight and wait. Young friend be a clever beast. He'll think of summit, miss. You'll see. Yeah.
Inside the fortress, Kayla was racking his young brains for an idea. He poked scraps through the grating as he whispered to the prisoners below. They're guarding the wall top, mates. It's going to be difficult getting instructions to our friends out there. Any ideas?
Hey, down there. What's all the whispering about? Are you talking to those prisoners? If you are, I'll lay me spear handle across your back.
Kayla spread his paws wide appealingly. Not me, sir. I haven't said a word. It's these poor wretches in the pit. They're calling to me. They say that they've got the fever and they want to be let out. Frogbit and Nipwit, the 2 rats who were on guard, looked at each other, taken aback by the news.
Fever! I knew it, mate. Gerard was shivering like a leaf last night. He sat by the fire drinking wine, and this morning said he was staying in his bunk 'cause of the pains in his head. Nah, that was just guzzling too much wine. There ain't no fever in this fortress, mate. No. Well, what about old Fleabane? Got a great yellow mark on his ear. It was bleeding this afternoon. That's 'cause the fool's been scratching at it to make it go away. Nah, there ain't no fever hereabouts. Take my word.
That's exactly what I said, sir.
Kayla called up to them. But these 3 down here are convinced they've got fever or plague or something horrible. Come down and take a look at 'em, sir.
What do we want looking at moldy prisoners?
Nipwit scoffed.
Our job is up here, looking for other things.
Listen, Kayla whispered down to his friends. They can't stop sick creatures shouting out feverishly. If Rose is outside, she'll hear you. Below in the pit, Martin grasped his friend's paws. Who has the loudest voice, mates? Brome swelled his little chest out.
Try me! Listen to this!
Cupping his paws, Brome yelled aloud in a piercing howl.
Some beast! Any beast! Can you hear me? Help us! There's a fever down here!
Both Martin and Feldo had to cover their ears. The youngster had lungs like bellows and a howl like an injured wolf.
Help! Help! We're dying of fever! What's the matter? Can't you hear me?
Nipwit clenched his paws and ground his teeth together.
Of course we can hear you. Stop that yelling or I'll come down there and kick your tail until it's blue.
Yes, sir!
Brome howled back louder than ever.
Please, sir! Kick us! Beat us! But come down and see us! We're dying slowly of fever! This place is a plague hole! Come down and see for yourself!
Frogbit shuddered.
That chance! I ain't going down there and catching a sickness.
Nipwit was in complete agreement.
No, me, mate. They can yell and holler all they want. I'm not putting a paw anywhere near 'em.
Through her tears, Rose sat back, giggling helplessly.
That's my brother, all right. Remember he used to scream and shout like that back home until Mama let him have his own way.
I remembers this. I used to plug my old ears up with grass. If your own child in fever with a voice like that, I'd be a teddy pool.
Rose held her throat, and throwing back her head, she gave the eagle call. Grum winced and covered both ears.
Moi, what a family for noising. Meister Brown know for sure Hudson can hear him now, miss.
The eagle's screech rent the night air again. Brome clapped his hands joyously.
That's my sister Rose, all right. She can screech as good as any eagle.
Martin patted Brome heartily on the back.
Great work, young'un. Rose can hear us. Right, get ready to send her the message.
From the wall top, Nipwort shook his spear at Kayla.
You started all this, Otter. Listen, they've even upset that eagle bird now. Get away from there, go on. Get back to the compound. You've caused enough mischief around here.
Kayla knew his job was done. Martin and his friends could send their own messages to the outside. The young otter trotted off grinning happily as the two guards argued away on the wall.
I'm not putting up with this row all night. Oh, no? Then go down there and shut him up. Me? Huh. I'm staying right up here, mate. And so am I, mate. We'll just have to ignore the noise and keep watch for the sea scarab. Ignore the noise? Are you joking? Listen to that. Rosie, Rosie, Rosie. Grim, grim, grim. Listen to me. Listen to me.
The eagle's screech sounded again. Rose and Grum were listening. Nipwort and Frogbit plugged their ears with the screwed-up corners of their ragged cloaks and concentrated on watching the sea. Brome sent the message in fine howling style.
In the middle of the gates at your faces. Oh, I'm dying of the fever. Walk to the south about 20 paces. It's a terrible thing, this fever. There are 3 of us in this awful pit. The fever! The fever! As deep as 3 mice and a bit. I'm going to die of fever! We need the cause of a good old chum. The fever! The fever! I know that you can do it, Grum. Don't let me die of fever.
There was a moment's silence. Then the call of the eagle screeched out 3 times. Rose had received the message. A quiet peace fell over the star-traced seas, the shingled beach, and the weary sentries on the wall top. The only sound was small waves gently lapping the land as the tide ebbed. Frogbit unplugged his ears. Nipwort followed his mate's example.
Ha ha! Ain't it lovely and quiet? Aye, I think the eagle bird frightened him into silence. Silence! What a lovely word! It'd sound better if you shut your gob and gave it a chance.
Rose had written it all down on a smooth rock with a piece of sea coal. She read the instructions carefully to Grum. Face the center of the gates. Walk 20 paces to the south. Brome says there's 3 of them in a pit that is as deep as 3 and a bit mice. So if we, or should I say you, dig down twice my height, then straight tunnel from the 20-pace mark, sooner or later you'll break into the pit at about head height. Can you do it, Grum? The mole winked as he flexed his huge digging claws.
Can I do it, miss? Can birds fly in sky? Can fishes swim in the seas? 'Twould be easier than eating your mama's little apple pudders. If you rescue Brome, I'll see that my mama bakes you more apple puddings than you could shake a stick at when we get back to Noonvale.
The mousemaid hurled herself on Grum and stroked his velvety back fur the wrong way.
Missy, don't you do that. It tickles.